What are your tips for a successful relationship? Since everyone covered the relationship part already, may I add choose the right partner for you? My father once told me everyone has flaws. Find someone whose flaws aren't a deal breaker to you, and I base my whole dating life on that simple tip. A lot of people have said some great things already, I'll repeat some of them here. 1. Communication. Be able to say if your partner is doing something you don't like and be comfortable in hearing the same. Also be comfortable telling your partner great things about them and why you appreciate them. I can tell I've made my wife really happy when I acknowledge her for carrying me through things I'm not good at. 2. Tag team clean. If she's vacuuming the floor, then I'm washing dishes. We tag team clean and it goes by much faster that way. 3. Financially strategize together. Money is a huge stressor on a relationship. Once you're serious about your relationship, discuss money. Discuss financial goals. Get on the same page on what money means to you and how it will help you achieve your goals. 4. Keep your individuality. Maintain your relationships with your friends and some of your individual hobbies and encourage your partner to do the same. Communication is huge. It sounds cliché, but it's true. If your partner can't say, "Hey, when you did this, I felt like this," without worrying about you getting super defensive or starting a fight, then you need to work on your communication skills. If you're feeling a certain way but are too scared/worried to say anything, or worse, feel like they should know, then you need to work on your communication skills. Marriage is just the buddy system. Tell your buddy what you need and listen when they tell you what they need. It's like 90% of the relationship. Don't rush into things too fast because of the initial excitement. Tell each other when one of you did something wrong so that you can fix it. It doesn't have to be immediate because sometimes you need some time to yourself to cool off and get your head straight, but eventually you should tell your partner what they did wrong or what upset you. Assume positive intent. Don't expect them to read your mind. Having a similar work ethic is necessary for a successful relationship. Not talking about your careers or lack thereof, but in all things, chores, communication, fitness, etc. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Be humble. Show love. Do things together. These are my well-tested tips to keep things working. And probably the most important. If, or rather when, you encounter trouble, no matter what, speak to each other calmly about how you two as a whole are going to deal with it. When your partner is complaining about something, ask them, do you want to vent or want help with finding a solution? I'm nearly 30 and heard this the other day. Game changer. Have your own separate things that you like to do. Don't text all day or check in too much. Realize when they're in a bad mood it probably has nothing to do with you. Don't keep score. Apologize, compliment them, listen fully. Don't fuck my best friend LMAO. And hashtag X200B. You'd think this would be obvious but apparently not. Talk regularly, phones down for a minute or two. If you're ever upset over something and you express it, make sure to tell them you're not directing your feelings at them if you aren't. Most importantly, make sure to look at them as a friend as well as a partner. Do kind things for your partner outside of holidays or occasions, not because you feel obligated to, but because you genuinely enjoy seeing them happy. Even if they're very little things like having their favorite meal prepped after a hard day or scratching their back as they get comfortable before they fall asleep. Let them have their knee-jerk reaction to a thing, but also let them have their measured response. Be prepared to forgive the knee-jerk if it turns out it wasn't really the message they wanted to give you. Give each other space. Don't seek for another person to complete you or fulfill your needs. Fulfill your own needs and then present yourself as a whole with the objective of what you can offer instead of what you can take. Communicate clearly, set boundaries, and always ask for consent. And that's not just for sex. Communication and respect for one another. Settle arguments immediately. There is nothing worse than to stop talking to your so and let anger, resentment, sadness grow inside you. That way you will find if you are compatible even more and reach a common ground sooner. 3 things: trust, communication and respect. If you have all 3, the rest just falls into place. Oh, and keep the fights clean and the sex dirty. Just chill out, the stuff that used to annoy me, I just don't let it bother me. Don't expect your SIG other to change if you're not willing to change yourself. I'm not willing to change, so I chill out about the stuff that bothers me. He does the same with me. Married for almost 16 years. Always be towards your partner. When you're not sure on something, ask yourself, is it towards your partner or against them? If they do the same and you have open/mature conversation, you'll do well. The day I proposed to my wife, we literally had an argument in the morning. She left for work and I knew she would come home. We would both say sorry and we would grow from it. And it would always be like that because we both wanted to be towards each other. Always be polite. Say thank you and please and would you mind, and thank them for what they do. Tell them and show them that you appreciate things they do/say. Come to terms and apologize when you're wrong. Stay away from topics that don't directly have to do with the foundation of your relationship that cause problems. This should be both of you. Try to help each other out whenever you can, and if it isn't often that one of you can't help the other as much, try to do other things for them to make them feel like they're not the only ones putting in work. Don't talk shit about your partner. Venting to your best friend or whatever is one thing, but constantly dragging your partner behind their back or to their face will just reinforce your negative feelings without constructive solutions, set the wrong impression of them with whoever you're talking to, and make your partner feel shitty toward themselves and you. If you're really unhappy, leave. Otherwise, find a way to be constructive and encouraging. On the other side of that, speak positively about their good qualities and behaviors you do like as often as you can. Obviously, this does not include abusive relationships. Raise hell and get out of there in cases of abuse, but in a regular relationship, constant ragging on your partner will be the end of your relationship eventually. Communication. No matter how small, bring things up if it's annoying you. If you fight, find a way to resolve it. If not immediately, then the same, or next day. By internalizing things, small things will build over time, until it turns into resent. Balance of selfish and selfishness. A healthy relationship is a balance. It's a two-player game. If you always put their needs in front of yours, you're not taking care of yourself. If you always put yourself first, you're just being a prick. Commitment. You both have to believe in the relationship, and commit. Times are not always rosy. When times are rough, you have to believe in the two of you. The sum of the relationship is bigger than the two individuals. Understand things change after the honeymoon period. The honeymoon period can last anything from 3 months to 2 years in a relationship. Eventually the excitement dies down, and habits in the relationship form. Be aware that the shape of love changes. Here's a hard truth: just because it was exciting at first, doesn't mean it's a relationship for life. Be careful of promises you make during the honeymoon. Don't rush into anything too serious during the honeymoon, like getting married or moving in together. Love is like a good wine. It gets better with age. If you use the right grapes and give it a lot of care, you can create something exciting and delicious. Treat each other respectfully and with kindness, building trust by consistently being open and honest. Remember why you're appreciative and in love with them. After years of being together, sometimes it's easy to start taking your significant other for granted. That shouldn't be the case. You should have a sense of security in the relationship, but you shouldn't ever stop showing gratitude. The little things count. To me, love only gets old if you allow for it to. Knowing that your so is different than you. End of story. They will do and say things that you don't. That doesn't make them wrong. Sometimes, you both need space. Not for any bad reasons, or because your relationship is failing. Sometimes it's just nice to have some time to yourself. Communicating, being patient and hearing each other. Compromises. Keep dating. Been together 10 years, married for 1 and we still go on dates. Be good at fighting with your significant other. Let me explain. It is inevitable that you will get in arguments or disagreements. When these things happen, don't default to the silent treatment. Don't default to hostility. Don't get angry or yell at them. Remember, it's almost always you two against the problem, not you versus them. If you get in a fight, and one of you storms off or avoids contact for hours, days at a time, that's incredibly counterintuitive to good communication with one another and understanding for why either or both of you got upset in the first place. This circles back to communication being the foremost and foundation of any good relationship. To have a successful relationship, you must first of all love yourself. If you cannot see anything positive in yourself, you cannot understand the value of people who like you and you just close doors. I believe that there are a lot of tips that someone can give, but this is what I learned from my own little experience. Edit. I said that you must love yourself, but yourself must not be the only person you love. I met my wife in 1969. Though we've had some serious issues over the years, a sense of humor has always brought us together. Along with all the other things already mentioned here, I learned a long time ago that you should treat the people you love that same way you would treat a stranger on the street. It sounds weird, but hear me out. If you come upon a stranger in the grocery store who is being annoying by standing in front of an item that you want, you would say, "Please excuse me." Be just as polite when your spouse is annoying you by standing in front of the bathroom mirror when you're trying to get ready for the day. Communicate. Never feel afraid to tell your partner what they're doing wrong, but discuss it calmly instead of accusing. When they tell you you've upset them, apologize and try to fix the behavior. Also spend time together. Have a date night once a week, even if that date night is just cooking a nice meal together and watching a new film. So many people get wrapped up in their lives and forget to spend time with their partner. That's how you grow apart. Sex absolutely shouldn't be everything in a relationship. But it helps if it's good. Do the stuff you don't want to do before she mentions it. Dishes, laundry, whatever. My wife loves to brag about the fact that I can fold a fitted sheet neater than anyone she has ever seen in her life. We also don't ever pay for auto or home maintenance. I do it all myself. She divorced me for another man and we remarried a year later. She was quite surprised to find out that not all men are willing to hang dry the bras and maintain the heat pump. Just put in the effort best you can, and if you aren't being matched by the other person, that tells you all you need to know. Don't be the type of person that always hints at stuff. Just don't, it's just frustrating. Be open with your partner. A closed mouth gathers no food. Forgive them for not being perfect 100% of the time. None of us are perfect, and when we slip up ourselves we expect to be cut some slack. They deserve that too. Apologize when you're the one in the wrong and be prepared to recognize when you were. Be consistently kind and polite to each other, especially you have kids around. This one is so important to me. Kids pick up on how adults talk to each other and that forms how they interact with others. But just as importantly, it's harder to have petty meaningless rows if you are mindful of your manners. This just improves the feel of your home, and if we're happier, we row less. An upward cycle, smiley face. Always make the effort to do the little things right. Pick up after yourself. Don't forget birthdays and anniversaries. Give hugs freely. See and appreciate loving behavior for what it is, not always romantic dinners and flowers, but working hard to support the family, keeping the home clean and welcoming, going to the store for milk because you already changed into your PJs, even though you said you'd pick it up on your way home. Be honest. Trust that they will be honest. Attempt to work through issues, don't hold a grudge or sulk. Be prepared to compromise and make sacrifices. Respect. Don't get together with someone with the mindset that you will change them. And on the other end, don't get together with someone who will only accept you if you sacrifice who you really are. This will always lead to resentment. Don't date multiple people at the same time at the beginning and only stay with me because I'm the only one that didn't ghost you after you fucked them. Celebrate each other's successes and support one another's passions and interests. Approach problems with a team mentality rather than an adversarial one. Understand each other's love languages. Have separate interests. Prioritize each other. You both have to care more about the relationship than you care about your ego. Lose the damn fairytale mentality. No relationship is without problems, but if you go into it expecting a fairytale, every bump in the road will feel like the end. Expect for things to go wrong, for your partner to make mistakes and for you to make mistakes. Choose to love them anyway. Unless they're an abusive piece of shit in some way. Honesty. Without it, trust cannot exist. Never criticize each other in public. Stand together against the world in all things. Discuss differences in private. His and hers single duvets on the marital bed. Edit, serious response. Together 7 years and married 4. Separate duvets for 6 years. Be honest even if it hurts your partner. Find someone you like to hang out with. The things that you're angry about down to your bones, don't say them. I've found that men listen more to tone than message, so you need to fake, simmer all the way down to get your point across. Not always possible, but that's my tip. Compromise. Just patience. Respect each other in practice, not just in name. It's all well and good having top-notch communication skills, but if you and your partner don't act on what you've communicated about, there's no point in talking at all. You don't need to agree with each other all the time, but just making an effort to meet in the middle is key to a working partnership. When you're in a relationship, you're part of a team, and sometimes that means doing things which you wouldn't choose to do, but are willing to do for the sake of your relationship. For example, my partner has really cut back on a friendship with a girl who flirts a lot with him because it makes me really uncomfortable, and she treats me like shit. He would never have chosen to cut down on the friendship as he has no interest in her and is blind to the flirting, but he has done for my sake. Friendship. If you can tell each of your thoughts and opinions to your so without the fear of being judged, it will indeed last very, very long. Both people should try to put in 60% of the effort. Don't have kids and live in separate houses. I found someone who took me even after I literally dropped all my bullshit on the first date. It wasn't scary, just surprising. I found someone who went, okay, we're doing that. Here's literally all my baggage. I was in disbelief for the first year, like maybe she's full of shit or isn't as cool with my past as she let on, but we enjoy each other even knowing everything about each other. Fantasies, fears, dreams, shortcomings, traumas, it's all pretty out in the open. I think it's just we're perfect for each other, which is pretty lucky. If each of you is more concerned about the well-being of your partner than you are about yourself, everything else will work out. True selflessness. If it's only one way, you're gonna have a bad time. You only argue about something once, by that I mean unrelated arguments, and situations don't get pulled out just so you can feel like you won or prove that whatever you're arguing about now is the other person's fault. Arguments, disagreements in a relationship are fine and can lead to healthy relationship adjustments. Bringing up past arguments is just unhealthy. If you can't let it go, you need to think about why. It's never one of us vs the other, it's us vs the world. Makes it insufferable to play cards/games with my partner and I because we just help each other until the end, but we are a team in life and all. When getting into one, attraction and shared interests matter at first, but long-term success is based on aligned core values. If you don't want the same life or value the same big things, for example wanting to travel the world versus valuing stability by living in one place your whole life, or wanting children B not wanting children, then eventually you'll end up with bitter compromises at best, or friction to the point of fraction at worst. I think a lot of people don't even realize their own core values until they're completely emotionally mature, which is why a lot of very young couples fail. Knowing and respecting each other's love language. Thank you for watching the video. Welcome to Reddit Wisdom. Here you will learn the wisdom of the crowd, the wisdom of Reddit. Please consider subscribing for more Reddit wisdom.